Welcome into the show. I'm D Walt, and I've got a guest on the show, my niece. Welcome aboard, Brooklyn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So yeah, I got you on the show. We're going to talk about some volleyball. We're going to talk about Trevecca. We're going to talk about schooling. We're going to talk about traveling on the bus. And if we got time, we'll do some picks. And with that being said, let's get on into it. Bus rides. I was curious on my end. Um, how do you like the ones that are long compared to the short rides?
So this is really interesting. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the season, we will travel to our in-state rivals, which are Lee, Union, and Christian Brothers. And Nashville's pretty centrally located to all of those, which is really convenient because, for example, if you are Lee and you're in Cleveland, and then you have to go to Memphis on a Thursday and play Christian Brothers, and then you have to come back and wake up and go to school on Wednesday, that is rough. But Nashville's pretty good in the middle. All of those rides are between like probably 2 hours to 3 hours, somewhere in that range. So not too bad. I usually just save some work and do them on those bus rides, and it's just like grind time as soon as I get on the bus because that's like guaranteed times. But there's a funny thing that we like to do on Tuesdays when we have away games. So the majority of our team watches Dancing with the Stars, which I think is
Okay.
really funny. And on Tuesdays, we will all huddle around a computer and watch the Dancing with the Stars after the game. And that's just so fun. And it's one of my favorite memories that we get to do together because, I mean, it's just so much fun. And for the long bus rides,
Yeah.
we just went to Valdosta State and played Valdosta State, and then we played West Florida, which is in Pensacola. And that is a long bus ride from Nashville. It took us about 10 hours to get to Valdosta. And so we drove to Tallahassee, spent the night, woke up, went and played in Valdosta, drove back to Tallahassee, spent the night, drove to Pensacola, played West Florida, drove back. So that was a lot. And from Valdosta to Tallahassee, it's about 2 hours. And then from Tallahassee to Pensacola, it's about 3 hours. So lots and lots of travel, but those travel trips are not fun. It is not easy to get comfortable on the bus. Um, Not good at all. One thing that's really funny though, a lot of my friends order these like dog beds off of Amazon and they like hook it on the bus so it's like a bed. But that is so funny. I've never heard of that. And then all of our seniors last year was like, order them. They make the away trip so much better. But I I do prefer the shorter trips than the
Okay.
longer trips, but
Okay.
you know.
That's good to hear. We got some fan mail. Papa sent me a question to ask you. He was curious about stories. So you got these
Mhm.
long bus rides. In the past, this year or last year, anything happened on the road that was funny, or so you talk about like sport things on the road, or you talk about things from school or friends, or what's the things that y'all talk about on the road?
Um, well, I would say we always get on the bus, and sometimes our coach or other people will give us like bus tickets. It's either like candy or a note or something like that. So that's really special when we get on and we get to have that. And then last trip, everyone on the team brought like a little candy and we made a candy salad,
Okay.
which was really fun. It's just little stuff like that to keep us entertained. Um, we usually will talk about some sort of scouting. We'll talk about the team that we're playing or something like that for a little bit segment of it. And then the farther the road trip, we usually always will stop at a gas station or
Okay.
something. And when you're getting back on the bus, if you got a treat, you have to give everyone a haul of what you got,
Okay.
which is fun. But honestly, we're together all the time, like all the time. So usually on our bus rides, we like to space out and kind of take the time for ourselves. But um, yeah, it's a good time. We talk about everything that there is to talk about, basically anything that's going on, people we know. But It's usually good, not stressful, and it's
Okay.
very just time to be able to be together and or be by yourself if that's what you need.
I got you. So this weekend you're hitting the road. So you got your long bus ride planned. Talk us through
Mhm.
this weekend. Um, is it hard to travel that long and then you finally get down there? Like, is it hard for your mind, or is it more or less just a bus ride? So this weekend you got one about 6 hours from Nashville. So
Mhm.
talk about this weekend, for example, of what's going to go through from the time you get on the bus to you finally get there. And does that affect your playing any from sitting that long and then going to play?
So I would say the biggest difference this year from last year, because I'm a sophomore, so I've been on the team. This is my second year. And so the biggest difference for me from this year to last year is we used to do a lot of traveling day of
Mm-hmm.
um for these games. So we would leave at 9 a.m. and we get there at 2 or 3 or whenever if we had a 6 o'clock game.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you get off the bus, you have to go and go get treatment and then go warm up and go play a game. And that's hard mentally. It's hard on your body when you're just sitting and being stagnant for 6 hours and then you have to go and perform, so athletically. So this year, we've been doing a lot more leaving on Thursdays, and then we kind of have the night. We get there, we settle, sleep in, and then wake up. We watch film. We'll have an hour to 2 hours of study hall, which is just like the time to do the work of the classes that you're missing. It's give and take because, we wouldn't be missing as much class if we
Right.
left on Friday, but then it's like it's better for the gameplay. So you just have to make sure like you're really taking advantage of the bus time and the study hall hours that we have to like stay caught up on the work that you're missing. Um, but I would say it's not as bad now with the Thursday travel. Like for example, this weekend we're leaving on Thursday and we're driving to uh Clinton, Mississippi, whereas Mississippi College is. And then we're gonna take about a 2 hour bus ride over to West Alabama and then play them. And then it's only about 4 hours back after that. So that'll be good.
Right.
It is as hard on your brain as you make it,
Okay.
I would.
That makes sense. So let's talk about this. So let's say you drive down there and it doesn't go well, and you got to drive back home, and you didn't win the game. What's it like to drive home, getting back late possibly, and then you just team didn't play well? Is it a long ride home after a loss?
So I would say that is something that we experienced when we went down and played West Florida. They are the number one team in our conference. It was a battle, but we did not end up winning that game. And it's about 30 minutes of just no one's really talking and it's just really quiet. And then really you just get over it. Like if you sit and fester in it and think about everything bad that you did in the game and oh, I could have done this better and maybe we would have won, like that'll just drive you into a hole. So we really just take a little bit of time to be quiet. Obviously, you don't want to seem like you don't care about the loss, but like
Right.
sitting and festering it isn't going to do anything. So I would say it doesn't really affect the positivity or the negativity on the way back.
Okay. Sounds good. Um, let's get on into some flow. So these games are on flow, which for me as a fan, Um, I love it. I it's great to turn it on and get to see you play, get to see you on the TV. I was curious as a fan or as a player, do you like to, you know, so it's a good deal for you to have it on flow. Is it cool, to be on TV and the camera there? Do you ever wave at the camera, or do you see the camera when you're playing, or maybe doing the anthem? Do you see the camera? And is that cool for you?
So Trevecca actually has a really amazing camera system. We've been to a bunch of other schools and they don't have like the camera setup quality that we do, which is
Mm,
really, I'm really, really
yeah.
thankful for that. Because we have multiple different cameras, multiple different angles. It's really cool. I feel very professional when I'm doing it, which is
Mhm.
really, it's a cool experience. But definitely see the camera.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's it's funny when we're doing the anthem because they'll go down the
Mhm.
line and it's like you don't want to make eye contact with the camera. You just want to seem like you're like I'm so locked in. But
Yeah.
it's fun. It's hard not to just smile because you're like,
Oh yeah.
um, but it's cool because we actually like the camera people are students that go to school here. So like we know
Okay.
them. And so it's cool because like they're our friends and stuff. But it we're very blessed with our setup at home.
Okay. Absolutely. Let's talk about home games. So you got the home games, and you also go on the road. Which one do you like better, home or road?
A home for sure.
Okay.
It's I love playing in our home court and like
Absolutely.
being in our locker room and sleeping in my own bed the night before, and
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with the travel. It's great.
Okay. So meals. So you eat before and eat after. What do you like better, and which one? Yeah. So I was curious about the meals on how that goes for you. If you eat like something small before, or is it bigger, and then after, probably hungry from playing.
Hmm. So on for I'll start with home games. So home games, we typically on Friday nights we will have nothing before because you're at home, you have the opportunity to go to the
Okay.
calf or whatever to get
Yeah.
your own lunch. And then we obviously have a huge snack bin and then like Uncrustables and Powerades and Core Powers and all that stuff in our fridge in our locker room. So if you're hungry, come and grab something that can fill you up before the game, but mostly you eat by yourself. And then after, we have a Subway that's on our campus, so they'll order, Subway sandwiches. We go in the dock and we put in our order form for after the game, and they'll order us food. That's just in our fridge after the game, so that's really nice. And then Saturday mornings, so we always play Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday mornings about 9 is when we usually have our film, and we typically get breakfast in that time, which it's usually Chick-fil-A, which is completely fine. There's Chick-fil-A really close to campus, and I love Chick-fil-A breakfast, so it's great for me. But it's good because we are really blessed because our team is so small. We can order whatever we want. I know some teams have like money restrictions, like
Uh-huh.
soccer has 40 girls on their team. So they have every meal they can only spend $10 for each person. But we only have 16 people on our team and our budgets are relatively the same. So we are blessed being able, like, I can get a 10 count chicken mini if I'm hungry in the mornings. So, but for away games,
Yeah.
we will get breakfast and then we'll play and then we'll get dinner. Typically, that's how it goes. Because, I mean, we're playing at 3, but like in the afternoon, which is lunch. So, but we get a big breakfast, usually Cracker Barrel, IHOP, Puckett's. If there's a local breakfast place, we'll go there. And then dinner, we will get, Olive Garden or Nukes or Firehouse Subs or anything like that. And they just send out the order form and say, order anything you want off the menu, put it in the form, and then our grad assistant goes and calls them and puts it in. And we're just so lucky, and I'm so blessed for that.
Very good. Sounds awesome. All right, you played two sports in high school, so I'll let you talk about that. But how did you pick volleyball over basketball?
So I also played basketball when I was in high school, and I'd played basketball forever. So I started playing basketball when I was like in first grade. So it was definitely hard. My high school, I went to an all girls high school GPS in Chattanooga, and um, we just didn't have a lot of people on our team. Like we didn't have, there wasn't a lot of girls that would show up for basketball. So it was a lot of playing time. It was a lot of running. It was a lot of, it's hard when it's a 5-person sport and it's so much running and so much everything, so physically taxing on your body. And you have, 9 or 10 girls on the team. So like everyone's not getting a sub and it's like I'm exhausted and I need someone to come in and there's no one. And so I think that just creates a frustration with the sport. And honestly, I was just succeeding more in volleyball than I was in basketball. And I just I enjoyed the sport more. And I felt like I was getting like the work that I was putting into volleyball was like I was seeing more of the fruits of my labor. And then just a better team relationship. And I had more club opportunities to play volleyball. There was like a really good club team in town, A5 Chattanooga, and I had told myself, I said, I'm not going to have time to play volleyball and club volleyball and basketball. And so I needed to make a decision. And I ended up making the ones team for this club. And I said, okay, well, this is a really cool opportunity. I have to pick that. And then that's what ultimately led me to my decision of picking volleyball.
Oh, that's good to hear. All right, let's talk about the process of them starting to call you for wanting to come play at the for them. I was curious on what was it like when these team or the schools would call you for them to come play for them. I was just wanting to see, was it emails, was it calls? You know,
Mm.
was it fun or fun? And I was want to take on that.
The recruiting process is not fun. Not fun at all, unless you are a five-star male football player. It is not fun. Um, I probably sent 500 emails,
Yeah.
and I was originally in the beginning of my recruiting process, I was like D1, 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 D1. That's the only option. It's the only thing I'm gonna let myself do, like all this stuff. And then my I talked to another D2 school in Florida. I originally thought I really liked it. I was emailing back and forth with the coach. We talked on the phone. I think I sent them an email. They responded back with an email. We are just communicating back and forth, sent them my film, stuff like that. Thought it was going great. Went on a visit. Just realized that it wasn't for me. I didn't really feel like I had a great connection with the coach. I didn't get to meet the team, which I thought was weird. There was just something there that, like, in my gut, I was like, this is wrong. Like, I feel like I'm not getting the full picture here. And then, so that was an experience. I'm glad I got to experience. It was in Palm Beach, Florida. So that was really cool that I got to go there. And then just emailing, I was talking to a lot of people. I was getting a lot of interest from, you know, D2s, D3s, NAI schools, things like that. I was getting communication back from D1s, but just nothing that was like of substance. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. And then I had to become realistic with myself, like, hey, maybe I need to look into other stuff and give myself more opportunity than just solely D1. And honestly, like I wanted to play and I knew I wasn't going to get the opportunity to play at a D1 school. So um I was able to go to a prospect camp at Trevecca, which is they just run a camp, and I immediately loved my head coach. I thought she was great. And then I started having great communication after that, and I came on a visit. Um, Met all the team. It was very open. I felt he was very honest, and I didn't feel like I was, they were hiding anything from me. And I got to practice with the team, which was really cool to go through a collegiate practice. I'd never done anything like that. And it was nerve-wracking for sure. But now looking back at that, like the people I was practicing with then, they're my friends now. And I get to play with them every day. So it was just a really cool experience. And then I ultimately just felt like this was a good arm's length away from home, being I'm from Chattanooga, so it's about, 2.5 hours. It's good distance, but like my parents can still come to games and I can go home when I miss it. And like, you know, so I just felt like this was ultimately the place that I was meant to be.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's some good insight on that. We're on a slight time crunch on my end. I'm not sure what happened there, but we're going to go into school and then we'll just do a part two of this. So let's talk about each day. So you do you wake up early and go to class, or do you sleep in and go to class, and then from schooling to practice? Let's talk about that.
So I was able to build my own schedule, obviously, and I have made it, especially this semester. I don't have class until 10 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then 10:45 on Tuesday, Thursday. Because in the spring we have to wake up early every single day to go to lift, to go to practice. And in the fall, we only have lift on Mondays and Thursdays at 6:45. So all the other days I get to sleep in, which is really awesome. And um, so I will wake up, let's just say it's a Monday. I wake up, I go to class at 10. I have a little 2 hour break, lunch, homework, whatever, to come back and hang out. And then I have a class at 1 and a class at 2. And then I go straight from my 2 o'clock class to practice. I get out of class at 2:50. I run to the gym, change, all that stuff. We have practice at 3. So I'm sprinting there. And then we go to practice till 5. We usually have an hour of film after, and then dinner and, come home, go to sleep, do it all again.
All right, that sounds good. Let's talk about you know, with school. Let's talk about your major and how the grades are going, and some plans you have for the future when it comes to for schooling.
So I'm actually a marketing major, which I have been since I came to college. And I was on the dean's list for last year, so things are going good. I was proud of myself for being able to balance, the workload of college and then of all my classes, and then as well as like being on the volleyball team. Like that's obviously a lot, and I was happy that I was able to, accomplish that. And then I have kind of just recently fine tooth combed this and figured out what I actually wanted to do. But I think that I want to work in public relations, which is a segment of marketing. And that's just focusing on like being the face of a company and giving press releases and working on media trainings with an individual and, stuff like that. Kind of working on the beauty of public relations is that you can work with an individual or a company, and every person needs public relations people because we have to interact with, and you have to put on a face with everyone. So I think that is something I really would like to do.
Absolutely, that sounds good. Well, we're on a slight time crunch, so we are going to end this episode, and we're going to want y'all to come back for some more. So we will take a pause here, and we will see you in the next one.